friends, I'm Kelsey Cook. No, I'm Professor DIY. We are back from excursion to Europe, me and Mrs. DIY, and we are ready to tackle some more organization. If you're like us, you have all kinds of little containers with all kinds of little things, which are great because when you use them, you have them. When you use them, you have them. When you need them, you have them. But what is not great is finding them. They tend to be under other things or on top of each other, and then you drop them on the floor and it's a mess, right? At least it is for us. So today we thought to create a little bit of a, what you're going to call it, a little bookcase or case to put them in and make them easy, accessible, organized. And we want to take you in the process of how we decide what material we use and how we do this. So stick around. This is going to be a fantastic episode and you're still our favorite viewer. So for a project like this, we do not want to go and buy brand new wood, right? It's going to be a shop project. It's not furniture. It doesn't mean it doesn't have to look nice, but we don't have to spend money on it, right?
Right.
So we have a pile of three piles, I guess not a pile, of different material here that we are considering using to make it. We have some wood like this. That might be a little too nice for this project. What do you think?
I mean, if it puts it to a good use, I'm okay with it. If we have something else that will work just fine, we can save that for another project.
With miscellaneous scrap here.
Scrap, not crap.
Scrap is what I said.
I know. I was just clarifying for the audience. We have cedar, and we have, which one is this?
This looks like tiger.
Tiger wood.
Too
Woo.
nice for that project.
Pine and finished pine.
So our first step always is to see what material we have and can we finish the project with the material we have in hand, right? So another option, because this will not carry a lot of weight, is to create shelving using plywood and just have to create in essence a box.
A frame.
Yeah, and then make inserts for this. So
Slots.
we might try that as well. So we'll do a little bit of experimentation, and you're going to know what we decided the moment we know what we decided. So just using scraps that we showed you a moment ago, we're going to build this, I don't even know what to call it, organization doohickey.
Doohickey. The technical term.
But again, you can see how easily that can scale into something different, right?
Yep.
As I said, you make it a little different and with better wood, and that can be a very nice jewelry box holder. And that's the imagination of the woodworker and the utility of the DIY process. So for us, the first step is moving our saw in a place that we can actually use it. And this is it. This is a place we can use it, right?
It is.
So that is step one for us. So our first step will be to see if this blade, we have a mixture of thin curve and normal curve blades, and we want to see if this blade will make enough of a cut for our plywood to get in it, right?
Is this our first step?
I'm sorry?
I was thinking.
This is our first step.
It's the next step.
The viewer's first step.
Okay.
People that don't have to move their tables, all right?
Okay.
All right, Mrs. DIY, if you want to.
Turn on our evacuation.
Perfect.
Let's see.
So I think that's the route we're going to go. What do you think, Mrs. DIY? Now we know that the depth we want is about 5 inches based on our little container thingies, right?
And when you say depth, what are we talking about? So our
The
viewers
depth is
can
front
follow
to back.
along. Okay.
Front to back.
And that's because of these, and we plan to put them sideways as opposed to long ways, correct?
No. Yes, sideways.
Yes. And we discovered that that's about 5.5 by using a scrap of our fence picket, which we know is approximately 5.5.
So our next question now is, do we want to use picket fences, which we have a bunch of? We have this and we have another piece there that we have to plane, right? Mm-hmm. But we are planing experts by now. Or do we want to use variable crabs?
Craps, variable crap. Yeah, I like that one.
And the design of this, we're going to work as we go along. I don't really have an exact design in my mind.
We don't do that.
We don't do that, no. So because there is not going to be a lot of weight on them, we decided to go with the plywood piece, right? So we're going to make several shelves using the plywood. So our next step is to have two verticals, and we try to decide how tall. You think this is how tall it should be? I mean, we can cut it here, of course, right?
Yeah, that works.
So we're going to decide how tall it will be, and then if our shelf will be the same width or depth, depending on how you look at it, of the uprights, or it's going to be a different one, right? So we're deciding that, and we'll be back with you. Following our normal non-measuring thing, we're using what is the smallest width piece, which is this one, and we're setting our sauce fence. We're locking it, and now we're going to pass all the other pieces through, and that will ensure we are going to have the same width all along. All along. What I did with this, that was stupid, it was dangerous, right? I was very close to the blade. I went behind the blade to move it. That is not a good idea. This is how we do things, not how you should do things.
So here, don't do it.
Is that how it works?
Yes.
Now the next thing is how high and wide it will be, right? So what do you think? So we're trying to preserve material and do the least amount of cuts. So we have two verticals here that are the same size and one base, and then we have an extra piece which is not long enough to follow the same orientation as our base, but it is long enough if we can cut it to go in between, right? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to in between it. Excellent. The next step is to take those two pieces and make them into one.
So these are the vertical uprights for this particular square structure or rectangular structure. And the reason why we are taping these together is so that when we run it through the saw to create the grooves are at the same place on both sides, which will then fit this plywood, this thin piece, as we tested earlier, and create the shelves.
Which allow us to have no measuring. And one more piece. Maybe one in the middle.
And again, we're taping these so that they stay perfectly together. We're making the grooves in the same spot. And by adding all this tape, we're just keeping the structure very solid and consistent.
So we're using one of our containers for the height between the cells, right?
No measure.
The distance between, and this is going to be the top, and we know that the piece is going to sit on top of here. So the top will be here. This will sit underneath that. So that's why we're able to put that against the fence. And then we need a slight gap to be able to get the things in and out. So we don't want to put it right up against the blade. And so now we have set our blade to the right height. We've set our fence to the right distance, and we're going to take this one at a time.
Yep.
What we're doing is we're making a cut or a channel underneath this, so you won't see it on top until we flip it over.
Ready? Okay, go ahead. we are going to move our fence until we have created enough space,
And
right?
we're going to use the channel that we just cut
Right.
as the mark, and we're gonna move the fence that way.
We're going to use the thing again,
Yep. What do we think? Do we need to go a little more?
No,
it doesn't have to be perfectly the same, right?
because we've still got a gap here, and that's got like a good 1/8 of an inch.
Okay,
So I think that's a good spot.
good. Here we go.
So now rinse and repeat. You see we've made 3 shelves and we're going to go up until we cannot go anymore.
Okay.
So by doing it this way, we didn't have to measure anything. Because we're eyeballing it, we are sure this is not exactly the same for each, but that is not critical, right? You could measure it if you wanted to be exact. And if you wanted to make, let's say, a bouquet something bigger, instead of a single blade width, you can use a dado and create a 3/4 dado or whatever you want, right? Mm-hmm. So again, we're making a very small thing that you can scale into a much bigger thing. Okay. The next step is starting the assembly.
You want to show them how this is going to work? Right. So we'll be
Cutting a lot of them.
cutting these smaller pieces of plywood, and that's how they're going to fit in as shelves into these on
Yep.
their side. Okay.
The next step is removing the painter's tape.
The next.
Next.
And we did put a mark on the top of our piece to make sure that we had all of our grooves correctly aligned, so that we also know which is the top and which is the bottom. That'll just make sure that we have the boards in the correct orientation and they don't get mixed up. Especially when you do things like this can be very important to making sure that all of your grooves and things line up correctly.
We have grooves?
We have grooves.
Groovy, man.
Grooves. Not like the Emperor's New Groove, but the groove.
All right. And now we're actually ready for assembly.
No, we're not.
Yes, we are.
Well, we're gonna
No, because we have to do the bottom first to know the dimension we need to cut the top. So we are ready to start assembly.
So we have this dry fitted together, and as you can see, our board is short. And so again, to minimize all of our cutting, we're going to use the longer board as our top. We're going to use the shorter board as our bottom, but we are going to cut it so that it can actually go into the bottom instead of being on the outside of these boards.
Right, it's gonna sit inside.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can use glue and brad nails to connect these. You can use dowels. You can use screws. We're going to use screws. Again, this is not furniture, but I was thinking something like this can be modified for jewelry boxes, right? A small little...
This reminds me of an old CD tower.
Yeah, something
For
like
those
that.
of us who had those.
Once again, we're using our trusty Harbor Freight El Cheapo clamps. Again, this has a little bit of forgiveness built into it. It doesn't have to be absolutely perfect, but it is a good practice to get into the habit of doing things a certain way, so you build the muscle memory when you build things. Granted, this is a little overbuilt, but keep in mind it is scraps, right? 3/4 wood is kind of a lot of wood for this.
But we have it and we want to use it, and this makes really good use of it.
We have it and we don't want it, we want to get rid of it. No?
No,
No.
no,
No.
wrong message.
Okay.
I need it to come out a little bit
More?
No.
And we are using pilot holes to ensure this doesn't split, or at least to the best of our ability.
And no, this is not pre-drilling. You cannot pre-drill.
We're just creating pilot holes.
Yes. And our new favorite kind of screw. because they have very, very small heads, right? Is that why they're a favorite?
That's one of the reasons.
All right, we'll do exactly the same on the other side. And we'll show you the next step of the way. So our next step is to make the last board of the case, of the carcass, as it is called in the trade, the correct dimension. So the best way to do it is put it on the bottom because we want to match this dimension, right? And we're going to put a mark where we need to cut it. Okay. Stella. Elpida has named this sauce Stella. It has positive stops, honey. It will stop at 0.
No, but it didn't.
And we're going to cut it. And first fit. And it looks pretty good to me. What do you guys think? Okay.
Do you want to check square or no?
So now we're going to rinse and repeat what we did. It's just the only difference is that the screws will come this way rather than the
Right.
other side because of their orientation. But other than that, it's the same. So the frame is complete. We have framed something, rather. And again, making boxes is a fundamental skill in woodworking. This is nothing else but a box. You put a bottom on it, you made it a drawer, right? You put a back on it, you made it a bookcase. All kinds of different fun things. So for shelving, we're going to use pieces of plywood, and we have marked the correct width for our pieces. We're going to cut all 3 of them. We think we're going to need 3. We're going to cut all 3 of them the correct width, and then we're going to cut all 3 of them again. Well, all 3 of them, probably not all 3 of them.
And so we did use that mark to set the fence, so the fence is correct, and now it's gonna go.
Right on the mark. One might think we know what we're doing.
So now, for the correct width for all of our shelves, we have just used the unit to again place the fence and measuring against the blade. And so we'll cut all of these.
And let's make sure we cut the correct orientation.
Yes.
Why you turned it?
Because this is the width of this is the shelf width.
You're sure?
Yes. See the slot? It wouldn't go in if it was this way.
Okay.
See? So this is our orientation for the shelves, and we're going to cut them this way.
Okay. And as you notice, we just use the carcass for dimension. In our typical way, we do not measure, right?
Our non-measure measure.
Now, do we need to raise the blade for this, or you think it's
No.
still good? Okay.
is near.
The moment of truth.
Ta-da!
Fantastic.
Take the tape off so we can
Fantastic.
have them as decorations.
And last decision, are we putting it back?
I think a back would be nice.
Okay. And we measured, and one of these pieces of plywood will create a really nice back. And we'll come back and show you what that looks like.
So we are setting the back. And we're going to use brad nails for this.
And we changed it out so we got like 5/8 inch brad nails in there.
Okay, go to the top. Okay.
Let's go on.
Angle, honey, you're too high angle. The other way.
It's like it's not doing it. What's going on?
One of the peculiarities of our Ryobi is that it does not like really small brad nails.
If at first you don't succeed, try again. So we removed the little shelves, placed this flat down. Apparently the angle is really important to this Ryobi because we haven't found that before. But now it is shooting the brads.
Stop shooting the brads.
Stop shooting.
Stop shooting the brads. Well, there weren't very many in there. We didn't have a whole lot.
Didn't shoot any of them.
Oh, cool, cool.
Oh, I did shoot some because they're missing.
Well,
Well, they I think.
So we found out the problem was not the Ryobi. The problem was that the brad nails were going through our plywood into our carcass, but they were not holding anything.
because it's so thin.
Right, so we're switching to thumbtacks, which are not the easiest thing to put in.
No, but part of the reason why is because they have this flat head, and so that's going to help provide some structure to keep them in there and hold that in place.
And if everything else fails, use percussive persuasion.
Yeah.
Again, this was supposed to be the simplest part, right? I mean, you know.
Every time we say that.
We didn't even say it this time, though. That's the thing. Now, in a bigger piece of furniture, this will also provide some structural support by preventing racking. In this application, it makes really no difference.
This is more about just appearance and keeping them in the...
Right.
Yeah, okay.
All right, that's enough, don't you think?
She wants
I
to
need
finish
one
with
more.
All right.
Symmetry, symmetry.
So now with our back, it's easy to put our it's easy to put ourselves in it. She has a hard
Stop saying easy. Stop saying
No,
easy.
we prefer the bow to be up, honey. Well, we know they go there because they went there before, right?
Yes, I know they go there, and they're going to go there. It's just whenever you use the E word, something happens.
Easy is a 4-letter word for the soap.
Or simple. Or fast.
Well, this is just a quick project.
Right.
We didn't say any of those in this project, so what is the problem?
We're just giving examples of things we've experienced.
So, Elpida, what did it cost us?
Effectively zero, because we used materials we already had on hand. However, these were pieces that we had obtained from other projects. So the frame itself were just scrap wood from other projects. So we could say 25, 50 cents, something like that. The only thing that we might say actually cost us something is from this stack of little plywood sheets. You bought it for $10 for like 25 sheets, and
Right.
we used 3.
So very
So,
minimal,
yeah.
$5 total cost if you buy
If
the
that.
material.
Yeah, yeah.
We're not going to, of course, finish any of this. There is no need to.
Because it's just for the shop.
Right. Any difficult part, Mrs. DIY in Elpida?
I don't think so.
No, not really. I don't think it was difficult. I think it was pretty straightforward.
And really, you can do that with a handsaw. All the cuts were straight cuts, right? You don't need. We use our miter saw because we have it, but it's not a requirement.
And what about your grooves? We got groovy today.
You can use the handsaw for the same purpose,
Okay.
and you can use the same process. You can double them so you're
Cutting them all on the
correct.
same.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now it will take longer, but you can do it.
Okay, cool.
So this is the idea of what we're doing. And if you have something heavy, then you can use a seam between them. So we just want to show you if it sags, because this is a heavier, and I put it right in the middle, like in the worst position, you can create a little middle row that will add a lot of strength to them.
And all we did with that was to put some little scrap pieces of wood in there just as supports. And as they build on each other, they support all of those shelves and support the weight.
Of course, you can also put your boxes this way, and you're going to put more boxes. And the heavier ones, if you rotate them, it will be just easier for the load to be carried, right? From Professor DIY, no.
No?
No.
No.
We hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you did, please give us a thumbs up. If you didn't, hit the other button twice. Share, like, subscribe, and let us know, did you like this episode and you would like to see more episodes like that in the future. From Professor DIY, Mrs. DIY, and Elpida, let's build something together. To make the boards a little more rigid, right? Not necessary right now, but in case you need it, just an additional idea. You can also use a little thicker plywood. I think that was a little thicker when we started with.
Right.
And we switched and we didn't pay attention, so that was our fault. But in any case, this is our project for today. We hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please give us a thumbs up. If you didn't, hit the other button twice. Share, like, subscribe, let us know. Did you like this project, and if you did, would you like to see more in the future? From Professor DIY, Mrs. DIY, and Elpida, let's build something together.